So hello everyone, this is AetherNightmare, and welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV, doing some White Mage meditation. Just kidding. But we are beginning the White Mage portion of the quest, so let us talk to Isumi and get started. Get our job stone. Isumi has a task for a skilled adventurer, sheer folly. Ren, I'm glad you've come. I have a task most urgent and a confidential nature, and I can think of none other than whom I can entrust it. You are doubtless familiar with Seed Seers, yes? Kanasena, Elder Seedseer, leader of the Order of Twin Adder, and guardian of our fair nation, clearly needs no introduction. But know you also of her siblings? Technically, we have met at this point in the story, yeah. The two young Padgels, sister Rhea Osena and brother Aran Senna, make for Evershade as we speak, where they will perform a ritual of great import. Verily, such import that it would be of no overstatement to say that the very fate of Gridania hangs in the balance. As you well know, we dwell in this forest by the good graces of the elementals, eternal guardians of the Twelveswood, and most of all, the Great One who dwells within the Guardian Tree. Yet our ceaseless warrings and ill treatment of the trees that shelter us have aroused the Great One's ire, and it is only by the quieting, the ritual of which I spoke, that he may be placated. Thus did the two Seedseers set out for the Evershade, with nary a guard to accompany them. Therein lies the rub, in the nature of this favor I ask of you. Wouldn't somebody other than a White Mage be better suited to this task? By no means would I question the power of the Seedseers. But with the Great One's anger mounting, who are they? The Twelveswood becomes a threatening domain even for the most pursuant of conjurers. Pray hasten to Evershade and see that no harm befalls the two. Who is this Great One? Are they one of the human gods of which we never see? And who I question are even real? Should be down in here with the slugs. If I know my map right. After all those yokai fates, I'd better know my map right. Oop. Notice too that they all have horns. Everybody's got horns. It's a White Mage Horn Club. Curses! How can we hope to make it to the Guardian Tree with those ghastly creatures bursting forth like rampant weeds? If I'd known what we were in for, I would have brought along a wood whaler or two. In fact, I dare say we should return and do exactly that. Oh, look, my suggestion. Oh, don't be such a coward, sister. We're Seedseers. These overgrown vermin are no match for us. Bold words, brother. But were they true words, we would have dispatched our enemies that arrived safely at our destination bells ago. A conjurer, are you? Brother Isumi, ever the worrier. For once, however, his solicitude is most welcome. Might you help us dispose of those fell creatures? Have you no pride, sister? A Seedseer does not beg the aid of some common adventurer. Enough, brother. We have a duty to perform, a duty that takes precedence over your silly notions of pride. Now enough talk. Let us see to these pests. Battle begin! Oh wow, there's a bunch. More than what I'm used to. I thank you to stay out of my way, adventurer. Rude. Well, at least they can heal themselves. Yeah, the one that's yours has just a little bit more green on the text for the wind spell. In case you ever look at it and it's like, who cast what? I'm silenced. I've actually been silenced. Okay, you were making me nervous there for a second. I know this job is jokingly to babysit, but today, apparently, they mean it literally. Bring down as many of the creatures as you can. I take it these are supposed to be mine. But I also know the moment the Bane Might goes down, this probably all ends. Oh, really? No? Interesting. I'm used to taking out the head honcho and everything is finished. Day every gain. I don't think I have that yet. Oh, wait, maybe I just did get it. Ooh, yikes. Hope you weren't in a dark room when that happened. That crystal, does my eyes deceive me, or does this adventurer inherit the legacy of Atawakant? It was none other than Atawa himself who last performed the quieting. No, I do not believe this adventurer's arrival is mere coincidence. Bearer of the soul crystal, inheritor of arcane knowledge long since forbidden to those not of our kind. I'm not of your kind. I know not why it is you he chose, but I believe our great forefather has led you to us today. Ancient tradition dictates that the quieting be performed by 3 Pajals. But I misspeak. The ritual is to be performed by 3 White Mages, if Master Atawa truly has chosen this adventurer as his successor. You speak madness, sister. Surely you've not forgotten that Pajali tradition strictly forbids sharing the teachings with those not of our kind. The power of white magic is far too great to risk it falling into the wrong hands. And so you would uphold tradition merely for tradition's sake, even at the risk of incurring the Great One's wrath and bringing disaster upon our forest home? Have you so little faith in your own ability, sister? We're seed seers, more than capable of slaying any beasts in our way and carrying out the ritual on our own. What about your siblings? Why not bring one of them? Since there's only 4 of you. This petty bickering is getting us nowhere. Adventurer, I'm sorry to trouble you with our silly sibling squabbles. If you've the time, I would speak with you further, but not here. Come to Camp Tranquil and come quickly. Time is of the essence. Pretty sure that's South Shroud, since I've seen her down there a lot. I did not sign up for a fate. Oops. Sometimes I wish controllers had more buttons. We've served Rhea Senna since he was a little girl, no bigger than me, Kupo. She has matured much since the calamity. Her brother Alron, on the other hand. When she was a child, Rhea had quite a temper. She was a sweet little girl now, but Imugo does not easily forget. Even now, the sound of her voice makes my fur stand on end, Kupo. Thank you for coming, adventurer. Forgive my brother's rudeness. He cannot help that he was born with a head of solid stone. Anyways, I do not believe that we have been properly introduced. I'm Rhea Osena, a Pajal, as you can see, and sister of the Elder Seed Seer. I wonder if that name is their species or their title. You are Bren, yes? Brother Isumi has spoken of you, and most highly at that. As you no doubt have heard, my brother Auron and I were en route to the Guardian Tree. There, the Great One, by whose graces we dwell here, resides. The gentleness of the Guardians when at peace, a destructive force that knows no bounds when angered. As the Great One goes, so goes our fate. The creatures you helped us dispatch, doubtless they too were roused to hostility by the Great One in his anger. You need only look around to see. The forest grows more and more threatening with each passing hour, so it is that we traveled here to quell the Great One's fury, to perform the quieting. In days of old, the ritual was, without fail, performed by 3 white mages. With our elder sister occupied with her many duties, my brother and I thought to attempt it on our own. Auron was quite confident, but I had my doubts. It was then that you arrived, and shortly thereafter became one of the chosen few to be gifted with a White Mage's soul crystal. 'Tis no small honor. That gem marks you as an inheritor of the magic of our ancestors. My brother's pride may blind him, but the signs are clear as day to me. You are not Pajali, but Awakant meant for you to be here today, to perform the ritual with us. Atawakant is known to all too as one of the greatest mages in our history, but even more so, he is known for being something of an eccentric. In defiance of tradition, he bid farewell to his forest home, wandering the realm and healing the wounds of the land and its people, wheresoever he went. A most admirable cause, yes, but alas, Atawa was never to return. He perished in a far-off land, and having taken no apprentices, his legendary powers were lost to us for eternity, or so I believed until I met you. And yet, for all his stubbornness, there is some truth to my brother's words. Ancient law forbids us from sharing the teachings of white magic outside of our own kind. There are reasons for this, which I would share with you when the time is right. There are many who would not approve of this arrangement. Still, I am convinced that it is Atawa's will that will bring you onto the fold, and so I welcome you, Bren of the White. Now I'm officially Bren of the Grey. Yay! I can feel the Great One's fury welling up even now. Time is short, and yet, while you may have been chosen by Atawa, I fear your journey as a white mage has just begun. Return to me when you have further honed your skills, and we shall proceed with your training. Okay, we get a skill, Peace of Mind, reduces spell cast time and recast time, and auto attack delay by 20%. And we also get the White Mage Soul. Okay, so that must be when people draw like really huge crowds. White Mage unlocked. Conjurer I am no more. The arcane knowledge of Atawakant awakens within you. The fact that both are called arcane is very interesting to me. The next White Mage quest will be available from Rayo Senna upon reaching level 35, so right here. Okay. Let's equip it. Transfer the bar. Which I might mess around with in my own time. Oh no, that's just regular cure, never mind. But you guys had regain. Where do you get that? But anyway, there we go. I'll have to be level 35 at least. So, I don't think... Oh, this does come with an ability. It does come with regen. Okay, regen's a level 35. So we'll see. We'll see how well I fare in dungeons. And base my progress off of that. Conjurer wasn't too bad. So, we'll see with White Mage. Meet you back in a bit. Okay, and we are back, and we are level 40, so gonna be a couple missions we can do now. Level 35. Only you can prevent forest ire. We're going to get Smokey the Moogle. Ah, Bren. Looking ever more the White Mage, I see. And yet I fear you are as ready to perform the quieting as a chocobo chick is to carry a wood whaler clad in full plate. But take heart, for we all must begin somewhere. Today I would teach you the art of communing with the elementals. This is, by any measure, the very foundation of our art, the means by which we preserve harmony between the forest and our people. Not far from Sorrel Haven you shall find a tree, a mere sapling in the shadow of the Guardian Tree, but one that has likewise been consumed by anger and fear. I would ask you to placate this tree. The process is quite simple. Stand before the tree and raise your hands. Commune with the elementals that reside within and attune yourself to them, until your feelings are in absolute harmony. Be forewarned, however, An angry elemental can be as stubborn as my dear brother. Do not be surprised if you find your honest plea rebuffed, and foul creatures sent to drive you from the forest. No matter what happens, you must remain calm. Dispatch the creatures, settle your heart, and speak to the tree once more. If your heart is true, your voice will reach the elemental ere long. Remember this, under no circumstances must you allow your anger and fear to overcome you. As practitioners of white magic, the magic of succor and solace, such emotions are anathema to our very existence. I don't remember what voices I gave certain characters. It's been a little bit, and I've been working on other things. Okay, Sorrel Haven is... Oh, that's actually in a different zone. I was heading to the wrong mission. I think I was about to angrily kick down Odin's doorstep. Which would not be good as a level 40 white mage with very mediocre gear. I did manage to get my warrior up to level 70, and then it was like, oh, it completely level caps me. I need to actually install that Endwalker patch, which I do have, and is now installed. I got the two as a bundle, but I've kind of forgotten about it for the longest time. The game seems really loud today. Hope the patch didn't mess that up. Don't mess with my volume settings. Yeah, you guys won't notice a difference. It does give me access to more quests later. Later. As well as the ability to play as Viera now. I think the big cat people, too. Forget what they're called. Not the Mihote, but the other super furry ones. There's furry light and furry heavy. Oops, not you. Not you, Kupo. A short while ago, I sensed a great anger abate. The forest is quieter, more welcoming now. It would seem you've passed your first test. The trees are the elementals are the trees. The lush verdure of the wood is inseparable from the spirits that dwell within it. Do you not need to hear this? You don't need to hear this from me. Doubtless you felt it for yourself when you healed the tree. Above all else, the elementals prize harmony. When they sense a threat to harmony, they summon forth all the powers at their disposal to expulse it. For so long, we've lived in peace with the elementals. Why now do they turn against us? I can offer no answers, only theories. But one thing is certain, we must quell the Great One's fury, and do so soon, lest Gridania bear the full brunt of the forest's wrath. To soothe the forest's wounds and restore harmony, that is our only duty as mages of the White, and it is a responsibility that transcends race or nation. I sensed your success in soothing the ailing tree, and am more certain than this than ever. Sadly, many can see past the established practice and tradition, my dear brother among them. One would hope for a bit more open-mindedness given his youth, but alas, his pride as a Pajal will not permit it. For my part, I'm not entirely unsympathetic to his concerns, and yet the task before us is too great. We must bring him around to see reason. But how? Forgive me, I would be alone with my thoughts for a while. Worry not, I will find a way to deal with Alron. Yeah, because the Pajals, for example, are a race that are half elemental and half, I think they're called Hyr in Final Fantasy XIV. I keep wanting to say Hume. That's Final Fantasy XII. I think it might be Final Fantasy XI, too. Humans. Oh, brother, where art thou? Bren, I owe you an apology. When we last spoke, I promised I would find a way to convince my brother to accept you, but I fear he intently refuses to heed my words. I shall also zoom up just a little bit for story portions. Why, the more I try to reason with him, the more he shuts his ears to me. All pride and no common sense, that one. I can scarce believe we're kin. So intent is he to prove that you are unneeded that he's dashed out into the forest all alone, boasting that he would placate every last elemental and save the forest all by himself. Needless to say, such a task is far beyond his powers. There's a part of me that would like nothing more than to see the foolish boy learn his lesson. And yet, as a sister, I fear for him. Would you go look for him, Bren? Seed-seer or no? He is in many ways still a child, and the forest grows ever more unsafe these days. I thought to go myself, but if you were to save my brother from his own recklessness, perhaps he might finally see how fatuous he has been. When I last spoke with him, he announced his intentions to begin his efforts in the bramble patch. With any luck, you may find him there. Now please go in haste before some ill fate befalls him. I have some questions, though, like... Which one is your mom human, or is your dad human? And also, I know the human parent would have died long ago, but are you all siblings together from one mother? How does this work? And why the horns? Which don't look anything... Like, they have these little horns, and they're different on each one, but they also don't really look anything like the elementals themselves. Like, and apparently they have, like, a really long lifespan, I've been told. Compared to humans. I mean, it wouldn't be Final Fantasy's first case of, like, a spirit and a human. Final Fantasy VI waves hello from the corner. I don't know, I guess I just want more details on how all this worked. Well, if it isn't my sister's favorite adventurer, come to show me up, have you? Well, you can march right back and tell sister that I'm doing just fine. I'm only resting. Even if I were hurt and unable to placate this tree, what could a run-of-the-mill adventurer like you do about it? This! Oh, gotta heal thyself. Remember to occasionally heal thyself. I mean, it still shows my voice being louder than the music itself. I just feel like the music might be a tad louder than it was before. After this set, I'll go back and watch the videos and see if I need to readjust. Especially during battle moments like this. It's the best time to test it. Some games aren't quite as balanced. There's one I'm doing now, and it's like, oh, I can barely hear the voices, and it's like, but otherwise the music overpowers me. Oh, it's always a balance. Even if I were hurt and unable to placate this tree, oh right, I gotta actually touch the tree. Soothing pats to the tree. It's always hard to sometimes adjust the volume to your voice in particular. I always give it a little bit of wiggle room too, which in turn makes my audio a tad quiet. But that's because sometimes I don't always fully control the volume of my voice very well. There are times when I'm too quiet in my speaking, I'm mumbling too much, I'm too far away from the mic without realizing. Or there are times where I'm otherwise really excited and like constantly in the red and blowing people's ears out, and thank God I have a noise gate. Beginner's luck. And compression. If you think healing a sapling or two is going to convince me that you are a worthy inheritor of the teachings of Master Atoa... Auron, you yourself do not believe those words. Sister, what are you doing here? For being my pig-headed... seeing to my pig-headed brother's safety. What do you think I'm doing? For better or worse, it would appear you suffer only from bruises to your leg and your pride. Auron, for all your obstinacy, I know that deep down you are no fool. No, you are wise beyond your years. You realize as well that the dire fate will befall Gridania if we do not quell the Great One's fury and restore peace to the wood. The adventurer is not Pajali, this is true, but what of it? Would you blindly trumpet tradition as the very forest turns against us and brings ruin to our home? We have a greater calling to answer, you know this. I do, sister. Oh, my dear Auron, what are sisters for if not to forgive their little brother's fits of folly? Now, I believe the most important task of all still awaits us. Let us return to Camp Tranquil. Tree placated. Let us return. But yeah, I'll test volume after this to see if it's still good. Or maybe I'm just used to fans running all night. So everything seems a lot louder than what it actually is. My ears are sometimes super sensitive if I get rid of the white noise. Oh, Bren, thank you. I knew it was only a matter of time before Auron came around to reason, and yet his hesitance to accept you was not entirely unfounded. When we first met, I promised that one day I would share with you the tale of how white magic came to be regarded as a forbidden art. Well, I suppose this is as good a day as any for the telling. The tale begins some 3 millennia ago, in the 5th Astral Era. It was the time of the endless frost, when a barren wasteland of snow and rime stretched as far as the eye could see. Food was scarce, and warmth scarcer. Their histories told many a grim tale of those who died in their beds, starving and benumbed. So did our ancestors discover magic, born out of the most fundamental instinct, survival. And I'm pretty sure from what I've been told, there's still a continent on this planet that people live that are like that, but I don't want to say where, because it will be a spoiler. In time, the winter thawed, and magic was no longer essential for survival. But once awakened to its conveniences, there was no returning to how things once were. Ere long, the people discovered all the myriad ways in which magic can be employed, and civilization flourished. But prosperity breeds contempt, and nations warred for power and riches. So did the people seek greater and greater power to rain destruction down upon their enemies. So was born black magic, the most devastating form of sorcery the world has seen. As if I didn't do that class right before this one. At the same time, another form of magic emerged, brought forth by those who would keep this immense destructive power in check. That is white magic. Our magic. Does that surprise you? Just as there can be no dawn without night, the white and black are but two sides of the same coin. War raged on, and magic was used and abused with little concern for the consequences, and consequences there were. Unchecked use of magic soon dried the flow of aether, threatening to bring blight to the land. The magic of healing, it made little difference. If used with no concern for the aether, our magic could prove as ruinous to the land as the most devastating black magic spell. And so it was that the practicing of white magic was forbidden, with one exception. The Pajal. Our kind were entrusted as the sole shepherds of the now forbidden art, to serve as healers and bringers of peace while ensuring that this great power would never again be misused. Though he's still young, Auron feels this profound sense of responsibility as strongly as any of us, thus his hesitance to accept you. But having seen your abilities and the sincerity of your intentions, you can rest assured his doubts have been dispelled. With the three of us united in place and purpose, and your skills ever growing, the day that we may perform the quieting draws near. To our fortune, the Great One is yet to be entirely consumed by fury, but our time remains short. To commune with the Great One and restore the Twelveswood to its former state of harmony, we must truly be one of heart, one of mind. It is to this end that Atawakant has guided you to us. Further your mastery of our art, and let us mend the wounds of the wood together. Okay, we get another skill. Cure 3 restores own or target members' HP and all party members' nearby target. Okay. I'm curious about the balance between these. A Tawakant speaks to you, imparting newfound powers. Does it replace my cure? No, it does not. It's a whole new spell that takes a ton of mana. Ooh, its first cast time is shorter than its recast. I guess it's true for white magic. I could have sworn recast time was like different with black mage. Oh yeah, and this is what I meant by the outfits for mages. Most of them aren't that great at the beginning. It's not too bad, but it does drain me rather quick. And then the other one we got was Regen. Grants healing over time effect to target. So this you usually cast... Oh, it's a fast cast too. Okay, normally you do that while people are still running about in dungeons. So after you do a mob pull or a boss, cast this while people are still moving. I see that a lot. Also, the way I play White Mage is a little bit different than how I play the other classes. For the most part with the other classes, I do it entirely by controller, but on White Mage, because I need to click over to my party members' information, which is normally over here. I know I can cycle through it with up and down, but for me personally, I find that it's not quite as intuitive, and sometimes you need to make split-second decisions that, sorry, but I can't cycle through super fast this way. I find it easier to move around with controller and then, like, hybrid click with mouse, which freaks a lot of people out, but I've gotten pretty good at it, and we've done higher level pulls, and nobody's died, so yeah. I have weird standards as White Mage. And I still prefer to move with a controller as opposed to, like, keyboard. I can play with keyboard. I'd have to get a little bit used to it and know what everything does, but I grew up on controller. I used to do old MMO stuff on, like, PS2 with controller. It's just so hardwired into my brain that it's hard to give up. I might have to eventually when things get super crazy in later expansions, but I'm going to stay stuck in my ways for as long as possible. And with that, we are up to level 40, and I need to level up further to take on the missions, so I guess I will see you then and check on the volumes in the meantime. Alright, BRB. Okay, I've returned in daylight for better recording, so let's go to Following in His Footsteps. We should be getting the outfit, even though I think it's already outdated.
Your command of white magic has advanced considerably. Yes, the time draws near. Let us begin our preparations for the quieting. At its roots, the ritual is no different from the acts of pacifying that you have already performed. The difference lies only in the difficulty of the effort. The Great One possesses a power unfathomably more immense than the elementals you've communed with thus far. Power so immense that a mage might be easily overwhelmed by the sheer force of its will. To prevent such a catastrophic fate, our tradition decrees that a special garb must be donned before performing the ritual. I have prepared for you these pieces, but I fear they will not avail you in their current state. So it is that I would send you on a journey. I trust you know the story of a Tawakant, rare amongst the Pajal. He left the forest behind to travel the realm, healing the land and its people. As terrible as his wanderlust, after he passed, his ashes were divided amongst several urns, which were in turn carried to the far reaches of the realm. And it was there, in the distant lands that the great mage so loved, that his ashes were buried, and the monuments erected in his honor. You are to go on a pilgrimage to these sites and retrieve the blessings of your forebearer. Only then will the garb I've gifted you be imbued with his divine powers. Mind you, you will find that these places are not as welcoming as they might have been in Master Atawa's time. The first site on the shores of the western Lenosha is a place now feared as the Serpent's Tongue, home to a band of vile pirates. The next is to be found in Mordona, in that overgrown labyrinth of roots and vines so affectionately known as the Tangle. I do hope that Master Atawa's ashes have survived the most oppressive environs. The third site I would have you visit is perhaps the most treacherous location of the lot, Rauban's Push in northern Thanalan. A stone's throw from an Imperial stronghold. I urge you to exercise extreme caution.
Okay, so I actually have to pray at each location. Actually, which one is at the... Oh wait, no, it's in Mordona. That's right. I thought there was gonna be one in the Shroud. Also, I gotta say about this outfit, I really wish capes went over the tail instead of sticking my tail through the cape. Like, what is this? Whose idea was it to put the tail through the cape? Why? It looks bad. Why did you do that? It's one thing to make a hole in your pants, it's another thing to make a hole in the cape. They probably didn't know how to overlay the outfit without it severely clipping the tail, but still, why? I probably need to dive down, actually. I don't know the exact location. It might be in the cave. Is this the cave? This is not the cave. It's actually way over there. No, I have not joined a fate. Mind your business. Alright, go up. When in doubt, go up higher. Oh no, that's actually all the way over on the adjacent island. I think? Yeah, it's technically down here. In this area that always has a fate going, because I think there's a story to it. The Gravestone, a tribe with life, we have to pray. Okay, one down. We get the... I think those are gloves. Van Lan is next. Oh, this person must be doing these too. You're at the same level as me! We're probably doing them in a different order, though. But have to fluidity. Because, like, otherwise this would be a really decent outfit, but no. No. You just had to have it look weird with the tail sticking out. Why? What did we get from that last one? I did clear out some slots in my inventory, so we'll see. There's an outfit I'm avoiding. I don't know if I'll keep it in the future. Maybe for stats, because I'm not super great as a healer. I feel very stressed as a healer. Especially depending on the party. There's been several times, even with lucid dreaming, that I've just straight up run out of mana. The gravestone is inscribed with an epitaph paying tribute to the deeds of a great mage. Yep. I don't know if they say anything different on them. I'm just examining them just in case. You get the boots. Back to Camp Tranquil. Sure. I totally did not participate in that, but whatever. The other person will probably be back too.
Not you, Kupo.
Your safe return heartens me.
I can now feel newfound power emanating from the garb I gave you. I trust this stage of your pilgrimage was a success. Now that you have traveled the realm and seen the land as Master Atawa did, I would share with you the rest of his tale. The histories claim that Atawakant disappeared in the mountains of Agomaro, the Kobold motherland. This is not untrue, but there is more to the story. When the Grand Mage did not return from his journey,
Oh, you're skipping through all the dialogue, and yet I still got here faster than you.
When the Great Mage did not return from his journey, one of his most devoted students went in search of him. As the legends have it, the young mage single-handedly fought off a veritable legion of kobolds while scouring the mountains for any sign of his master. Sadly, it was all as we had feared. The young mage eventually found his master, the great Atoakant, lived no more. As if the death of the man were not enough, Thyrus, Atoakant's great staff, a mighty relic passed down by his ancestors, was lost to the shadows. Undeterred, the young mage fought off the kobold hordes to carry his master's remains back to the surface. A ceremony was held to honor the master Atoa's life and deeds. God, it's busy today. And urns housing his ashes were carried off to the far-reaching frontiers of which he was so fond in his living years. All of the urns, that is, except for one. Yes, though the precise location is known to only a few, Master Atawa also rests closer to home. Here in the Twelves Wood, not far from Proud Creek, you will find yet another monument to the Great Mage. Take with you this habit, and pray your respects as before. If you keep your pure intentions in your heart and in your mind, then the healer's robe shall be your reward.
Okay. Off to the North Shroud. Yeah, I'm probably not going to enjoy Scholar. Sorry. Thankfully, I can level up faster if I do runs as Scholar as opposed to Summoner, just because my queue times are ridiculously short, but as a healer. Of course. That's the staff you're wielding? Wow, you are underleveled. You're welcome. Alright. Let's return. Yeah, their gear is, no offense, really, really far back. That is like level 30 gear. I'm pretty sure I got rid of that staff already, but I bet I have the outfit. That is... Ooh, worse! It's level 28 gear. Honey! Honey, change your outfit. No wonder that thing was taking so long for you to kill. New White Mage's robe. A new habit for a White Mage, or a habit for a new White Mage? An urn holding Master Atawa's ashes was stolen? This cannot be! Grave robbery is a damnable enough crime in itself, but what manner of scoundrel would dare defile the resting place of a podule? Rest assured that I will investigate this heinous crime immediately. In the meantime, your pilgrimage demands you travel to one last destination. This final leg of your journey will take you to the very place that Master Atawa drew his last breath, Agomero, the homeland of the kobolds in Outer Lenosha. It is here in plain sight of the Kobold Dig that the student of whom I spoke did erect a monument to his fallen master. Alright, Kobold Dig. Meets another White Mage at the same level as me and has a reaction akin to, "What are those?" Yeah, sorry. Oops, party, excuse me. Pray. Let's not party on the gravestone. Let's pray at the gravestone. Dyslexia did a doop-doop. There we go, we get the crown. Well, at least they're doing these quests, which means they're going to be getting better gear through this.
Welcome back. The journey was not an easy one, I trust. And yet I knew that Master Atawa would guide you safely back to me. In your travels, you have received a blessing of our great ancestor. And yet this was not the sole reason I sent you on the pilgrimage. Perhaps you sensed something of my intentions during your trip. As the one who would inherit Master Atawa's legacy, I wanted you to truly walk in his footsteps. To see the realm, in both its beauty and its suffering, with your own eyes, as the great mage did long ago. And yet is this strange, no? A pirate's lair, a rampant jungle, mountains of fire, all of the hostile environs of which you have journeyed, the single grave despoiled was that which rests right here in our forest home. I suspect this was the handiwork of no witless grave robber, but rather someone who knew all too well the value of that which was buried within. We must uncover the truth behind this crime and return Master Tawakant's ashes to... Atawa's ashes to their I swear, too many people cause my brain to go to their rightful resting place, and quickly, you are with me, yes?
Yearn for the urn. So that should be the last one. Ooh, and we get a new spell. We get Holy. Deals unaspected damage with a potency of 140 to all nearby enemies. Okay, so it's our AoE damage spell. So we actually do get an AoE damage spell. Not that in my current parties I've gotten much chance to do damage at all, for reasons.
Grave robbery is a loathsome enough crime in its own right, but to defile the final resting place of a Pajal, such an act could only be performed of the lowliest of bandit scum. Though I would like to think that the elementals have already delivered due to justice to the villain, we must take no chances in allowing an escape. Whilst you were away, I put my best Moogle on the hunt, searching for any sign of the culprit or stolen remains. I dare say he should have a clue or two for us by now. At least he'd better if he values that little ball on his head. Suffice it to say, though, my Forestborn think of the Moogles as blessed. My own personal experience has found them to be more touched than anything else.
In other words, they're a little crazy. They're blessed, though. Where is that? That is... Is that here? Oh, it's right in front of me. I'm an idiot. Hello.
Oh, mistress, you shouldn't say such hurtful things. It's most unbecoming of a seed seer, Kupo, but fine, don't listen to me. Why, I told her just the other day that this is why she remains, shall we say, unspoken for. She might not react to that phrasing at present, but her ire was indeed fierce, Kupo. Of course, you have not come to discuss my mistress's temper, but the grave robbery. A most unforgivable act of villainy, if I do say so myself, which I believe I just did, Kupo. I am pleased to say, and you will be pleased to hear, that the culprit did not escape Moogle eyes, Kupo. Well, my eyes he did escape. My associate, Puknopoki, however, claims to have seen a band of ruffians sulking off in the direction of the Red Belly Hive with various and sundry stolen goods in tow. Among them a rather conspicuously elaborate urn, Kupo. I do not know what the Red Bellies are up to, but surely it can be nothing good. Please go quickly. If the urn is lost, I fear Rhea Ozire will be the least of my worries, Kupo.
And he is up here. I could fly, but I'm lazy. This way. Is he in the stump? He's in the stump. Are you the one that helped us defeat Good King Moogle? I feel like I've talked to this Moogle before.
Those thieving crooks! Those crooked thieves! Defiling the resting place of a Pajal? Why, no amount of thrashings, lashings, and beatings would suffice. Kupopo? Why, if it isn't the lovely White Mage Koopcha Koopa spoke of, and not a moment too soon. I was just about to swoop in and give them a comeuppance myself. Now that you're here, however, I believe I'll just sit back and enjoy the show, Kupo. Those vile red bellies tossed the urn unto some ramshackle wagnon, a most ignoble fate for a Pajali legend, I do declare, and carted it northwise towards their hive. You'll retrieve it safe and sound, won't you, Kupo?
I make no guarantees for pottery. It's kind of funny, my last one had me smashing an urn, this one has me retrieving an urn. I'm also trying to get better at switching on controller. You'll stay over there if you know it's good for you. Alright, bring back the urn. Let's go. I highly doubt this is the last bit. There's gotta be more to this. No way. Tawakant's ashes. The final remains of the wandering Pajal.
Thank you. The remains of our exalted forebearer hauled away by the brigands like a sack of loot. Is that what our land has come to? There can be no doubt. This is the Great One's fury that brings such chaos to the Twelves Wood. The situation is grave indeed. I shall have our wood whalers deal with the red bellies. We have more important matters before us. And yet I fear we have hit another snag. Though the urn has been safely recovered, the harsh treatment it suffered at the hands of the bandits has taken its toll. Uprooted from its proper resting place, the power of a Tawakant, once housed within, grows dim. I shall return the urn to its rightful home. Perhaps over time it will return to its former state. And yet I fear time is a luxury we do not have. We must explore other means to enchant the ritual garb. I will consult with my brother to see what knowledge he might have to offer. In the meantime, I would ask that you master your newfound skills as best you can. There's no telling what the Great One's fury might grow too strong to contain. You must be ever prepared.
That can't be the end of it. Well, we get holy, but... yeah, there must be 2 level 45 missions, because we didn't get the whole garb. Heart of the Forest, this is the last one. We get the Healer's Robe, and Benediction, restores all of a target's HP. Oh, but it probably costs like a ton of mana, don't it? Cast is instant. How much MP does it take? Maybe it takes like a long time to cast it. Like it has a long cooldown is what I'm trying to say.
Forgive me, brother and I have considered every possibility and attempted every incantation at our disposal, but I fear the task of completing the enchantment has proven beyond our abilities.
No living Pajal, not even our sister, possesses such power. Without the blessing of a Tawakant, there's nothing we can do.
With the ashes returned to their rightful resting place, a Tawakant spirit will return. Surely it's only a matter of time.
Look around you, sister. Open your eyes and ears. Time is one thing we do not have.
Auron?
The fury of the Great Ones mounts with each passing moment. It will not be contained much longer. No, the time for waiting is long past. Now is the time for action.
But, Prince Garb, the enchanting is not yet complete.
The situation is far from ideal, yet we have no choice. We must trust in Bren's powers and do what we can.
Do I hear you right, Auron? Why, it was not long ago that you objected to Bren's very presence at the ritual.
I may be stubborn, sister, but I'm no fool. I've witnessed Bren's abilities with my own eyes. There can be no doubting that they're a mage of the white, one as worthy as you and I.
Auron, if you would place your trust in Bren so, I see no reason why I should not. Very well, let us hasten to the Evershade.
Okay, to the Ever Shade. The Shade of Ever. Yeah, thankfully the missions that they're giving me right now aren't too bad. It's just that the big mob pools can occasionally get a little tricky in dungeons. This is a new player based off of their outfit. I'm starting to learn what all the outfits are and when you get them, so it's easier for me to judge from a distance. How angry is this tree?
The Great One's rage is too strong. I cannot reach him. Stay focused, Auron. If we fail, who will rise to take our place? But sister, the forest itself turns against us. If we can only reach the Great One, his minions will relent. Cast away your worries and focus your mind on the ritual. No, Bren!
Hello.
Stand strong. Are you going to let some overgrown shrub ruffle your feathers?
I take it you're the Great Master Spirit. Actually, you look like the other kid.
And the two of you, don't you have a ritual to perform? Do my eyes deceive me?
This is no time for chit-chat. Reo, Aura, Bren, focus your energy on the Guardian Tree. Yeah, he looks like the other brother that we got our Conjurer stone from. Do they age?
We must quell the Great One's fury, dispatch its minions, and resume the quieting.
Also, we just brought a dude back from the dead temporarily. We're not gonna acknowledge that? Okay, she's got those. Everybody here's a white mage, so it shouldn't be too bad. It's more this way. Do I even have to be here for this fight? They're doing everything without me. Oh, I need to heal the tree. I see. Maybe I'll let them heal the tree and I do this. I mean, let them attack and I do this. Or maybe not. Didn't mean to do that. Okay, so apparently I can cast Regain on the tree. Oh, if only I had that new ability. What's this? Rescue. Oh, that's calling people over to, like, your position. Basically, you can magnet people to where you're standing if they get too far away. But I really hate when people use it on me, so I'm probably not going to use it on others. If I had Benediction, this would be over in an instant, but I don't. I don't know if this is possible. It just keeps dipping lower than what I can heal it for. Yeah, I can't heal it fast enough. Just like people who play tanks who don't use their mitigations. Now, focus your powers on the Guardian Tree. Is it over? The Great One's anger abates. You have done well, my children. Master Atawa, do you truly live? Live? Not as you would define the word. Mayhap in the heart of Bren here, whose strength I borrowed to join you. It's a miracle. Ah, it may very well be. Or perhaps the Mother Crystal heard this old soul's wish. I lived a long and fruitful life, but when I drew my last breath in Ogomoro that day, I did so with one profound regret, that I would pass from this realm without finding a worthy inheritor to bequeath my knowledge in full. My spirit left my lifeless body to abide in the Soul Crystal, with the hope that one day it would find its way into the hands of my successor. For years, my consciousness slumbered in the darkness, until I met Bren. From the moment you took my crystal in hand, I knew, Podgel or no, I had at long last found one to whom I could truly pass on my knowledge. Yes, I knew. Master Atawa? I mean, he's still technically dead. The power of the crystal grows faint. It would seem my all too brief sojourn here has come to an end. Farewell, Bren of the White. Farewell, my children. I leave my forest home in your capable hands. Master Atawa has left us. And yet by his power, and that of his successor, the Great One's fury is quelled, and the 12's is safe. Though Master Atawa traveled the world, no doubt his heart always remained here. In the forest home he loved, he waited for us. My brother, for once you almost sound wise beyond your years. Strange, is it not? Perhaps I finally learned something from you, dear sister. As I could learn something from you, Auron. Your pride as a Podgel, your deep respect for her past, these are traits to be admired. The same can be said of Master Atawa's liberality. Yes, I believe this is a place of both beliefs among our kind. The road was long and a winding one, but at long last our work is done. Let us return to Camp Tranquil. You restored harmony to the forest. sounds like there's some stuff happening here. Hello. And maybe I'll get better with White Mage over time. It's just right now, I am not very good at it.
To meet Master Atawa in the flesh, well, not flesh, perhaps, I am still shaking from the experience and from the pure joy of seeing peace return to my forest home at last. I'll be forever grateful to you. I'm honored that we were able to heal the wood together. I speak not only for myself, but my brother has expressed the same sentiments. Were Master Atawa here, I'm sure he would say the same. Though perhaps he is still here in some form. Behold, the final piece of your garb now pulses with his ancient power. Yes, there can be no doubt that Master Atawa intended this as his parting gift to you. Take it and wear it with pride, Bren of the White. Before we part, I would bestow upon you a present of my own. By the ancient powers vested in me as Seed Seer, I bestow upon you the greatest incantation known to our kind. May you ever heed the will of the elementals and use its wisdom and compassion. Ooh, I'm not given to formalities. I swear I do not know how my sister manages. In the short time I've known you, you have grown into a fine white mage. I'm honored to call you my peer. Use your powers in moderation, and let compassion be your guide, and I have no doubt that you will bring succor and solace whenever your journey takes you.
Atawa speaks unto you, imparting knowledge. The conclusion of the White Mage quest for Final Fantasy XIV and Reborn are done! Woo! Next quest will be available here. In a Realm Reborn. Okay, there we go. Oh, so you do have other outfits. But speaking of outfits, let us get ours. I think it's in here. Yeah, there we go. White Mage. Ta-da! I don't think the crown is in here. Crown. Pants. Which you can't even see in this outfit, so it's kind of a why bother, but where's my shoes? These are my shoes, I think. Are these the shoes? Yeah, healer's boots. These are the shoes. There we go. This is the full White Mage garb. And as you can see, it's already outdated. But with that, there we go. That is it for White Mage for Final Fantasy XIV. Quest complete. That only leaves Arcanist, which branches into 2 different job classes. The Scholar and the Summoner, which is where... I don't see Summoner on here. It'll appear later. But yeah, it turns into Scholar and Summoner. So, since they share level, Summoner should go extremely quickly once I get to it. But for now, this is where I'm going to leave off. So thank you so much to everyone who has joined. If you want to see more Final Fantasy XIV content in the future, like and subscribe. And I hope to see you all in future videos. Bye-bye!